Crazy.
Selling ice cream.
It be the pretty bitches though. Nobody talks about it.
Deep word.
Pretty are
Evil.
nuts and evil and mean no good to the world. They are only for themselves.
Yeah.
Good. Welcome to the cult. My name is Naomi, and you're watching my channel, Saint to Siren. Subscribe and hit the notification bell because it's time to win. Now, hearing Joe Budden say that pretty women are evil and manipulative and mean, vindictive is music to my ears. And it should be music to your ears too. We are like that to be protective. It lets me know that the paradigm shift is changing in the feminine consciousness, and we are treating men how they want to be treated for eons, right? They have been conditioned with a predator mindset, and we have been conditioned with a prey mindset to give, and be siphoned of our energy, while they can just sit back and receive to be built up. What is that saying? Behind every strong man is a stronger woman? Not anymore. We need to be toxic. We need to be evil because that's how men want to be treated. We need to be those things to protect ourselves. We are using their tactics against them to protect ourselves. You need to be toxic so that you can see when people or men are being toxic towards you. You can recognize it quickly and respond appropriately. You must realize, what I have realized. Every man, okay, since he's been taught a predator mindset, every man is going to use tactics to get what he wants. That's what he's been taught. Hello, that is the basics of sports. That's why men are so obsessed with sports, because it's war. I had this one dad come to me, and he was talking about how his daughter didn't really want to play basketball because he told her, this is it's not a game we're playing. It's war. And that's when I was like, wow. That's when I saw the difference in our framework. That's when I saw how I needed to be. You can say you don't want to play a game, and you want the right, you want a man to come to you, in an authentic manner. This is them being authentic, baby. This is them in their authentic state. Look at us right now. In 2026, look at where we are right now, what the country is right now with male leadership. We are in the games of war, and we're just collateral damage or victims or targets to get what they want, whether it's in between our legs or it's in our bank accounts now. They're coming for us. Because men cannot provide like they used to, like patriarchy has them believing that the man needs to be the sole provider. Since they can't do that, since they can't make enough money to be a provider for the whole family anymore, now it's like we have to provide. Now we have to provide for them and the housework. No, Siren. So it's music to my ears when Joe Budden says that we are evil now, as we should be. Play the games. Play the reindeer games, Siren. This is not a relationship. I want to say this is not a relationship channel. This is an energy siphoning, sucking, energy growing channel. This is a women empowerment channel. This is time that we open up our eyes and see what's really going on. We were the supportive force in their games. And it's now time to actually pick up the chess pieces that have been put aside so we can play. It's time to play. You need to look at every man as someone who can hurt you, as someone who is an op, as someone who is a target. Because every man is going to look at you as, what can I get off of this woman? They will lie. They'll say whatever to be able to get that to be able to win. Let me tell you, I have a good male friend, and he was complaining to me about, in his past, he really liked this one girl. She was like, oh, she was half Mexican and Filipino, and she was just so beautiful. But she would always like run off on me. Like, 1 minute she's communicating to me, and then the next minute, she's not answering the phone. And then the next minute I know, she's coming back from Mexico, and it's like, oh, sorry, I had to leave. So he was complaining, like, I don't know, like I couldn't trust her. And then I said, well, what were you doing? You know what I mean? What about you? Were you being faithful? Like, I could understand your argument if you were being a true man, a true partner to your girlfriend, to this woman. And he said, no, I was going off and doing my own thing. And I was like, Tommy, his name's not Tommy. I was like, Tommy, she knew what you were doing. So she treated you how you wanted to be treated. You wanted her to treat you how she wanted to be treated, how kind and respectful. But she knew you did the same stunt. So she mirrored what you were doing. And then he had an evil grin came over his face. And he was like, I know. Do not have any consideration for a man who has not invested in you continuously. Every day is a new day that he has to prove himself in your mind. You have to stay very aware of any shifts and changes. One thing about being brought up in a prey mindset, being brought up to give, is that you gain emotional intelligence. And that's not something that men who are brought up in a predator mindset develops immediately. Use your emotional intelligence. So when we see the shifts, when we see a change happen in their dynamic towards us, we can read that immediately, and we can get out of situations immediately. One thing I hate that men do, they'll call you in the morning and they'll set this pattern. Men set patterns so that we know what's going on, because that pattern changes towards us. So the one pattern I hate when they set is when they call us in the morning all the time, or text us in the morning. Good morning. Hey, beautiful. Da, 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 da. And then, because that's going to fall off. That's just going to drop. And when it drops, then that energy is going towards someone else, or they don't care anymore. Because when that energy drops and you realize, oh, there's a change, your natural reaction is to be like, hey, what's going on? Hey, hi, good morning. And that's how they hook you. But you just got to look at their actions and see, does this reinforce what they're telling me? Because when it starts to peter off, starts to change, that's when you need to change. When they start getting funny, that's when it's time to be funnier. So you don't waste your time, so you can keep your energy. I suggest that you play with men like that. Let go of, this hurt and guilt that has been programmed into you when it comes to men. Let go of giving any respect, because that's how men truly feel loved. When you respect them behind their back, or you respect them in front of another man that's trying to get at you. That is, along with the cat, that is prime juice that they want. That's what they want. They do all of this stuff to gain respect from other men. Kind of gay. Anyway, right? They want to seek approval, not from women, but they want the best woman on their arm to seek approval from other men. They want the most money to seek approval from other men. They do all these things to seek approval from their peers, or to get the evil eye from their enemies, right? To make their enemies look at them and be like, and be mad and hateful and jealous, to like Heisman off of them. We are just pawns in their games. And now us as pawns need to wake up and become autonomous and get on the field to show we are another enemy to look out for, to be aware of, to be watchful. I really do feel like this will get us back to where we want to be, get us back in a higher position. Because when someone knows, man or woman or not, when someone knows they can't play with you, they'll leave you alone. They won't even engage. And I feel like if all of us can come together and just start playing these games too, start being evil, start being rude, start being mean, which is something that they like, right? You have to start treating people how they want to be treated. And when they start showing you how they want to be treated through how they initially introduce themselves to you, how they treat you, you will protect yourself. Do not think of being toxic and evil as something self-preservation. That's what I'm trying to say. When you win, another loses. Another does not get off on you. Doesn't get anything from you. Okay? There's this one comment, and she was saying how, in my other previous videos, I was talking about how when it comes to, getting a man to do what you want, you always want to link it back to, sex, basically, right? Can you buy me this swimsuit so I can take it off for you? Oh, you want to, if you know that they want to have sex with you, tell them, let's do it in Miami, in Miami, right? Like, you want to link it back to sex. You want to make it appetizing for them. And she was saying how, a guy would reply. She tried that one time, and the guy would reply like, "Oh, you don't need your hair done. You don't need your nails done. You don't need you don't need anything good. I just want to have you there." Don't fall for that. And I said, don't feel bad that, it didn't work out. Feel protected, right? You are playing games with them to see how they move. Because even if a man knows that you're playing games, if he really want to be with you, if he really wants you in around him, if he means nothing but good intention for you, if he's willing to open up his resources for you, he'll get your hair done. If he cares about you, if he cares about his lady and, wants his lady to look good on his arm, he will open up the pocket for you so that you can do that. I'm saying he will invest in you so that you know that he's a safe person to be with, at least in that instance. All right. If a man's not willing to invest anything, if it's all just words, if he's not willing to invest his energy, time, money, his resources into you, then you can just play him off just as much as he's playing you off. Just like India.
I don't want to hear you say nothing about discounts, cheaper. Even if you do, I don't mind you getting a discount. I don't mind you preferring cheaper and things of that sort. I don't want to hear it as the lady. I don't want to hear you got a problem with no prices or nothing. If I don't live my life that way, I don't want my man to express himself that way. You could feel that way. You could organize it aside from me somewhere else. But as soon as I hear somebody say, that's too much, how much is it? That, it pisses me off. Just as a woman. Personal preference. This is just me talking, okay?
You may think these tactics are shallow. They're not. You have been conditioned to think that way. These tactics are not shallow. These tactics are protective. You're doing it to protect yourself. You're siphoning energy before they siphon yours. You just want to see how they move. Once you read how they move, oh, I'm not investing in you. I'm done. I know this is not good. Just like India says. She's like, if I have to come out of my pocket, that'll be the last time you see me. Because I know you not good. I know you're not willing to invest in me. I know you're not a safe option for me because you're not going to give anything to me. You just want to take from me. You need to start looking at toxicity and being evil as good protective actions to do to see where that man is at. You're not supposed to court them. They're supposed to court you. Just most recently, and I just kind of came to this conclusion. I just had to make this video because I really just came to this conclusion that all men are not going to be upstanding for you. So don't think you should just automatically be upstanding for them. There's this one man in my life, and I had met him in my early 20s. Well, we were both in our early 20s, 21, 23. And in my mind, up until recently, I always thought, like, you know what? There are like good men out there because I had this reference of this one man that I used to date. And it didn't work out because one, honestly, we weren't sexually compatible. Even though he was a sweet man, I still thought in my mind, like, you know what? He's a sweet man. You know, we weren't at the time. And secondly, I knew like what he wanted. He wanted to follow society's. He wanted to follow society's game plan. Go to college, get married, have babies. Right? That's the game plan. When people don't know what they want out of their own life, that's the game. That's a fallback default that they go on to be accepted by society, right? But at the time, you know, I'm 21, 23. I'm not ready for that. That's not what I was never even sold on that. I wasn't even sure if I wanted to do that. I was too young. So eventually we had to break up because we're going on separate paths. But in my mind, from my 20s into my 30s now, I always had that reference point. And I always thought, no, there's always going to be that one good man out there, you know? And because, you know, we had broken up, you know, he had blocked me, which is valid, you know. I was the one that honestly ghosted him. I broke it off with him. So he's had me blocked for a long time. And did you know, like in my mind, I always had a lot of respect for him because I felt like, you know, he knew it wasn't right and he moved forward and, you know, stood on business. So I always respected it. But until recently, I saw his profile like pop up on my suggested on Instagram. And I was like, what? In, you know, over a decade, I haven't seen him on my suggested in a long time. I thought he had blocked me, right? And I sat back and I was like, dang. He was the last one. He was that one man I thought, you know, upheld his morals. But even the most chivalrous, kindest, considerate, even the man that seems like he's most for you is going to look back. Because when I clicked on his page just to see like, wow, okay, he unblocked me. I wonder how he's doing. He has a family. It looks like he got married and he has a child. It doesn't matter how much you think a man is in love with a particular woman. He will always look back. It doesn't matter if it's a year from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Like Sodom and Gomorrah, he gonna, on an X, he gonna cheat. He's always gonna be wondering about who the one that got away. Siren, be toxic. Do not consider them and don't feel bad about it. Be the one who got away so you can keep siphoning.